Hello everyone, this is Nitpicking Nerd, and today I want to talk about the new trailer for the Fallout TV show, which I'm really excited about. I was a huge fan of the original Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 computer games. When I was a kid, I spent an insane amount of time living inside those games, exploring every possible scenario. Sometimes I was good, sometimes I was bad, sometimes I was a man, and sometimes I was a woman. I wanted to see every possible variation, every possible scenario inside those games. And so I spent a huge amount of time because it was so fun and it was so interesting and it had so much humor and it had so many interesting quests. And only later on, when I watched all kinds of movies, I started realizing, oh, a lot of things in that game was actually paying homage to all kinds of movies which I haven't seen yet when I played that game. And so to me, that game was very interesting and fun and educational, and I did get kind of a little bit too obsessed with it. And so when Fallout 3 came out, I kind of deliberately avoided it because I didn't want to get sucked into it and live in the game, and then I won't have an actual life. And so I kind of deliberately avoided the later games, even though I did look them up on YouTube. I did want to see what it was about, and so I did watch a lot of clips from it, but I didn't actually play it. And I was very excited to hear there's going to be a TV show set in this universe because it's just such a fun universe. There's so much stuff they can do with it. It's just so entertaining. It is a post-apocalyptic dystopian wasteland, but it still has so much fun stuff in it. A lot of it is kind of like the Wild West, only in the future after everything was destroyed, and yet there's still a lot of advanced technology and all kinds of creatures and mutants and monsters, and so there's just so much fun stuff in it. And based on the trailer, it seems as if they managed to capture a lot of the things that made it fun, and not just the visual similarities, that everything looks right, which I am happy about, but also all the humor, all the fun element. I am hoping it's not too goofy, because I do want it to have some actual tension and drama and a sense of danger, and so I don't want it to be a full-out comedy, but some silly moments here and now is also what made the game fun. It had a lot of comedic moments, and I'm cautiously optimistic after this trailer because at least visually it does look very faithful to the original, and so it's not all just a cash grab, it's not just using the name to get ratings. It seems to be made with love and care and knowledge of the source material. And I always thought a Fallout TV show cannot possibly go wrong, because when you have it all written already, when there were so many great stories in the games, if you simply adapt them to TV, you can't possibly be wrong because it's all written so well already. But apparently the new show is a new story that is simply set in the same universe, and so it's not adapting the same storylines we saw in the games. And I have some mixed feelings on it, because on the one hand it makes me worried, because the stories in the games were so good, they cannot possibly go wrong with it if they simply adapt it. On the other hand, I would like to see something a little bit more fresh and new, something I would not know how it ends from the start, something that will keep me on the edge of my seat, something that will be more fun to me personally. On the other hand, it makes me worried because if they invent a new story, then maybe it won't be as good, and so I'm a little bit worried, but I'm really hoping they pull it off, because if they do, if the new story will be great and it's set in the same universe, it will simply expand the same universe, then that will be great. And another small nitpick I have is that some parts of the trailer kind of reminds me of the Star Wars sequels. Once again we have a strong female character as the lead of the show apparently. So hopefully she's not going to be a Mary Sue who knows it all and is the best at everything. Hopefully they do not do it like that. I don't have a problem with a female character being the lead character. As I said, when I was playing the games, a lot of times I was playing as a woman. I'm just hoping they will do it in a believable way and not in a stupid way. And also we have that character of the Brotherhood of Steel wannabe, I guess, who did not yet get his armor apparently, and he's just running around all the time and all of that. So it kind of reminds me of Finn and Rey from the Star Wars sequels, and so hopefully it will be better done this time. I don't have a problem with those characters and how they started. I actually really liked The Force Awakens, the first Star Wars sequels. In the beginning, I actually really liked it, and I liked those characters. It was later on, because of bad writing, that they were ruined. That Rey became all-powerful by the end of the first movie, and Finn was just a useless character later on. They didn't really do anything with him later. And so if it's written well, then I won't have any problem with it. So hopefully the show will not be trying to check all the boxes to be politically correct and all that kind of stuff, especially in a setting like this, which is a post-apocalyptic dystopian wasteland with monsters and giant cockroaches and slavers and cannibals and a lot of creepy kinds of people. That will be kind of silly if they try to promote all kinds of ideas of today. Unless they do it in a kind of comedic way to point out the ironies and the absurdities and all of that, then it might be fun. So I guess we'll wait and see. And visually it looks really great and really similar to the style of the game. Like we see all those junkyards and we see that flying robot, Mr. Handy, and the Brotherhood of Steel in their suits with their vertibirds and the Vault Dwellers jumpsuits. And so a lot of it seems really well done. A minor nitpick is about that ghoul character who looks kind of too human, and I think they deliberately did it. They didn't want to cover him with too much makeup because they wanted his acting to show through, and so it was kind of a deliberate choice to limit that. But I think he kind of looks too pretty. You know, if he is a ghoul, he should look a little bit more nasty and disgusting, but maybe we'll get different stages of that. Maybe we'll see him peel off his skin at some point or something, so maybe at some points it will be more gory as it should be. And speaking of gore, we do see a lot of nasty shots of, a dog eating someone's hand. And the dog reminded me of the dog from the original Fallout game, Dogmeat, who was following you around and being your companion throughout the game. And it was really hard to keep that dog alive till the end of the game. And that shot of the dog somehow surviving all those bullets from that automated torrent kind of made me smile because it reminds me of Dogmeat. It's the same kind of problem, like how do you keep this dog alive? Maybe it's more than a normal dog, I guess. And also we see some kind of monster which I don't remember from the games that I played, and apparently inside its mouth it looks as if there are hundreds of human looking fingers inside its mouth, and so that's kind of creepy in a good way. It's kind of Lovecraftian style, which I like, and it does make me remember something toward the end of the first Fallout game when you enter the lair of the master of the super mutants and you see that the corridor leading to the master is all covered with organic goo, and then the game describes that the walls in that corridor are actually made from living flesh, like actually humans who got merged into some kind of super organism linked to the master, and you can actually see hands and fingers moving in the corridor trying to grab you as you go there. And so it was a very creepy kind of description, which we didn't actually get to see. It was only described in the dialogue, and we only saw it from a distance as just being goo, so we didn't actually see it. So if they do stuff like that in this show, I will personally love it, because I always loved Lovecraftian horror monstrosities. You know, if it's done in an artistic way, in an interesting way, I always love that kind of stuff. So maybe the fingers in the mouth of that monster are actually human fingers. Maybe all the people it consumes become part of it, and it makes them part of itself or something. So if they do stuff like that, I will personally love it. You know, I hope to see stuff like the Master of the Mutants. Like, I know that's one of the problems, that it's a new story, that it cannot be the same thing that was so cool, but maybe they can do similar stuff in other places. Another thing I like in the trailer is that apparently we're going to see a lot of stuff inside the vault itself, which is something that we didn't really see that much of in the games that I played, at least. And when I always wanted to see more of life in the vault. And so hopefully we'll get, at least in the first episode, we'll get a lot of stuff inside the vault itself. And apparently, judging by all these clips in the trailer, there's some kind of a rebellion inside the vault, and some of the people go crazy or something, and maybe that's why the main character has to leave the vault to go and find a cure or something. So we don't yet know the full story, but I was happy to see that there are going to be a bunch of scenes inside the vault itself. And when she goes out, apparently she has a beaten up lip, and so obviously something happened inside the vault itself which made her make this decision. And then we see a lot of shots of all kinds of places in the wasteland and those junk towns. And it's all very faithful looking to the game, and so it made me very optimistic. So I'm really hoping the writing will be good, because they have such a good potential with the show, because that universe is so interesting. There is infinite amount of things they can do in a fun way because of that whole setup. You know, it's in the far future, yet it's kind of like the Wild West, yet with advanced technology. So there's a lot of science fiction elements. There's a lot of horror elements, there's obviously comedy, and so it will be a very fun show. I really hope so. So that's all for now. Let me know what you think, and we can talk about it in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.